6A-7, negative and zero exponents. So really, there's not a lot of new stuff on here. Listen, there's not a lot of new stuff on here. A lot of it is review, okay? It's been a while since you guys have learned this stuff. It's been a 3-day weekend. It's been 2 days of map testing, okay? And then on top of just seeing you guys every other day, okay? So it's important that you're paying attention because it is a good review. When we come back from lunch, I am going to give you your reviews, and then on Friday you're going to test. Okay? Friday you're going to test, not today. Okay? Okay. It says fill in the table. So 2 squared. If I do 2 squared in my calculator, what do I get?
9.
4. So right next to it in the box, I want you to write 4. If I do 2 to the first power, I get 2. If I do 2 to the zeroth power, I get 1.
Crap.
Everybody write 1. Please don't do that. Okay, then I have 2 to the negative first power. Now, let's talk about what we know. Can you have a negative exponent? Put that away, please. Put that away, please. Put that away, please. You cannot have a negative exponent. So what happens?
It turns positive. And no, it goes into a fraction.
It goes into a fraction, right? And where does it have to go on the fraction? The bottom. So 2 to the negative first power is 1 over 2. Can y'all see that?
Nope.
There we go. 1 over 2. Then I do 2 to the negative second power. What do you think it is? 1 over 2 squared, which would be 4. Okay? 1 over 4. Anytime you have a negative exponent, it's going to turn into a fraction. You guys know that. That's a review. Okay? It just looks a little bit different. Now, for this first box right here, okay? If you don't have a variable in the problem, what's a variable? What's a variable? A letter. Okay, you listening?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a letter in the problem, like these 3 problems right here, does everybody see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You can just plug those straight into the calculator exactly how they look if there's no letter. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with 6 to the negative 4th power. And what do I get when I do 6 to the negative 4th? A fraction. 1 over whatever 6 to the positive 4th power is. 1296. It's got to be a fraction because it's a negative exponent.
You always gonna have 1 on top.
If it's a whole number going into it like this. Okay, if there's nothing on the bottom. Okay, look at the second one. Now I got to plug this in exactly how it looks. Negative 4, to the negative second power. It's going to be a what? It's going to be a fraction. 1 over 16. If there's, oh, hey, listen. If it's only just one set, if it's only one set of numbers, okay, with a negative exponent. All right. Here we go. Now look at this one. Why is this one different? It's already in a fraction, and where's your negative exponent? On the bottom. Can you have a negative exponent? No. So let's see what happens when I plug this one in. It becomes 8.
Oh my God.
Now, why is it a whole number if I have a negative exponent?
Who knows?
Because it's on the bottom.
Because what happened?
It's reversed.
It's reversed, okay? This is really 8 over 1. Now, you can't have a negative exponent, all right? So like the ones we did previously, negative 4 over negative 2 is really negative 4 over negative 2 to the first power. So what do? We did its opposite and moved it to the bottom. So it became positive exponent. Here, the negative exponent's on the bottom. So what did I do? It moved to the top and became a positive exponent on the top. So what do you notice? Stop tapping. Tell me what you notice. What'd you get out of this?
Now there's negative on the bottom.
Okay, if it's a negative on top of the fraction, negative exponent on the top of the fraction, it goes where? To the bottom. If it's a negative exponent on the bottom of a fraction, it goes to the top. Okay, that was the point of this first box, to see that the negative goes on the opposite side. The next one. Okay, now let's do to the zeros. 5, stop. To the zeroth power is 1. Then I'm going to do parentheses -2 to the zeroth power. 1. Then I'm going to do 34.693 to the zeroth power. What do you think it's going to be? 1. What about 1/4 to the zeroth power? 1. So what do you get out of this box? If it's a zeroth power, it's always going to be 1. Levi, can you put that away, please? Everybody hear that? Okay, now, simplify each expression. So 1, 2, and 3. These right here, okay? All you're going to do on these 3 is you're going to decide where it's going to go. Is it going to go on the top of the fraction or bottom of the fraction? Then the rest of them, it's going to get switched up a little bit. But for these 3 right here, you're just telling me where's it going to go. Okay? We're going to organize it. Okay, look at number 1. 11m to the -5th power. Y'all stop talking and listen. Put your bag on the floor, please. 11m to the -5th power. Because I have a -5th power, I have to have a what? A fraction bar. Now, that -5th power goes with what? Just the m. Does it go with the 11? No. Those are 2 separate things. What's the exponent for the 11? Does it have an exponent, the 11? No. It doesn't have an exponent, so we say it's a 1. Listen, so you're not confused. Now, the 11 has a 1 exponent. Is that a positive 1 or a negative 1? Positive. So where's it going to go? Top, because it's a positive exponent. M to the -5 is going to go where? The bottom and become +5. And that's my answer. Okay, number 2. I've got a -3 exponent, so I know I'm going to have a fraction bar. You should be writing with me. All right, we're going to take it one thing at a time. So -4, where's that going to go? What's the exponent on this -4? A positive 1. So where's it going to go? The top. Yep. X to the -3, where's that going to go? Bottom and become +3. Y, where's that going to go? Top, because what's its exponent? It's really a positive 1. That's my answer. Are you writing with me, Ethan? Number 3. What's wrong with number 3?
It is a fraction.
It's a fraction, and what's wrong with it? There's a negative exponent. But where's it at? The bottom. So where does it need to go? So if I have a fraction bar, y to the -3 is on the bottom. In order to make it positive, it's got to go to the opposite side, which would be the top. What would go on the bottom of the fraction? It would be a 1, but do we have to write the 1? No. So that's my answer. Okay, number 4. What's different about number 4? What does parentheses mean? Now we're going to multiply. So what do I do with my big numbers? Multiply the big, add the little. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to get my answer. Okay, whatever your answer is, you get it. Then, after you find your answer, you're going to decide, do things need to be moved to the top or the bottom of a fraction? Okay, we'll take it one at a time. So I'm going to multiply my big numbers. 4 times -2. What's 4 times -2? negative 8. Now I'm going to do the m. We're going to add 2, and this one doesn't have an exponent, so what do we say it is?
A 1.
A 1. 2 plus 1 is?
3.
So m to the third power. Then I'm going to do the ends. I'm going to add a negative 2 and 4. Look how I plug this in. Negative 2 plus 4. And I get?
2.
Positive 2. So that's going to be n to the second power. Do I have any negative exponents?
No. Yeah.
Do I have any negative exponents? My answer.
No.
No. So that's my answer. I don't have to move anything to the bottom because they're all positive exponents. What? I don't have a negative exponent, so nothing has to be moved to the bottom of the fraction. Okay, look at number 5. What operation are we doing on number 5? We multiply and dividing it. Multiplying. So what do I do with the big numbers? Multiply. 5 times 3. 15. Now what do I do with my exponents? Add them. Start with your a's. A negative 3 and a 2. Negative 3 plus 2. Gives me a to the negative 1. So go ahead and just write that first. Then I do the b's. A negative 1 and a positive 1. Well, if I add those, I get 0. So b to the 0th power. Can this be my answer?
No.
No. Okay, I have a negative exponent, so I know I definitely need a fraction bar. And then we're going to take it one thing at a time and decide where it goes. So I've got 15. Where's that going to go? Top. A to the negative 1. Where's that going to go? Bottom. And become positive 1 exponent. Do I need to write a positive 1 exponent?
No.
No.
But you can't do 1, 2.
But you don't need to.
Okay.
Well, if it's a 1 up here, it stays A. If it's a 0, it all becomes 1. So like this b to the 0th right here. What's b to the 0th power?
1.
1. Do I keep the b?
Yes.
No.
What?
Okay, b to the 0th power is really just a 1. So this is being multiplied by 1.
So if it has a 0 and it's just a letter, you just think like a positive 1. Okay.
Okay, well what is 15 times 1?
15.
Over A. Now, I'm going to show you a trick. Or what I tell you to do. Anytime, okay, look up here. Anytime you have a letter or a number to the 0th power. Everybody see right here. Stop tapping, please. And look up here. See this b to the 0th power? What did it give me?
1.
A 1. Okay, well, anything times 1 is really just itself. So if I didn't write the 1, I get 15 over A, which is the same thing as my answer. Right?
Yeah.
You with me? I didn't have to write this 1. If I didn't write it, I still got the answer 15 over A. So I did an extra step by writing that 1 there. I just had to rewrite it. So what I tell you to do, anytime you have something to the 0th power, the first thing you're going to do is cross it out. Cross it out, and we're not even going to worry about it. Okay? So if you see anything to the 0th power, cross it out, because in the end, you're just multiplying everything by 1, which is just the same thing as you got. You don't even need to worry about doing that step. Okay? It's not important. So if I was to work this problem and I got to this point, the first thing I would have done was cross out the b to the 0 and only worry about this. Well, then I say 15 goes on top, a to the negative 1 goes on bottom, and I get my answer without having to worry about that b to the 0. Okay, we'll do some more like that. Okay, number 6. 4a to the negative 4th power cubed. What do I do here?
Do it.
Good. This 3 on the outside tells me how many times I'm going to write what's on the inside. So 4a to the negative 4 times 4a to the negative 4 times 4a to the negative 4. I did it 3 times because this little 3 on the exponent tells me to expand it. Now, what operation am I doing? Multiplication. So what am I going to do with my big numbers? Multiply. So 4 times 4 times 4 gives me 64. Okay, so 64 big number. What do I do with the little negative 4s? Add them. So look how I'm going to put this in the calculator. Negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4. And I get?
12.
Not 12.
Negative
Negative 12. So a to the negative 12th power. Can this be my answer?
No.
No. What do I need to do? Make it a fraction. So draw your fraction bar. One thing at a time. 64. Where's it going to go? Top. A to the negative 12. Bottom and become positive 12. How are y'all feeling? Okay? It's kind of a review, isn't it? You guys already know really how to do this. Okay, number 7. What operation? Division. Okay, what else do you notice about number 7? It's got a 0 exponent. So what did I tell you to do when you see that 0 exponent? So I'm going to cross out the C and the 0. And I'm not going to worry about it. It's over with. Everything else that's not crossed out you do need to worry about. But if I cross it out, it's done. Okay? Now, you guys told me I'm dividing. Well, because I have a fraction bar here, I know I need a fraction bar here. Okay, start with your fraction bar. What do I do with the big numbers? Divide. So I'm going to divide negative 24 divided by 6. And I get negative 4. Where's that going to go? The top. Whole number goes on top. Now what do I do? Huh? Subtract what? Not variables. The exponent. I know what you mean though. Start with your a's and we're going to subtract the a's exponents. Negative 3 and 5. Negative 3 minus 5 gives me negative 8. So I want you to visualize a to the negative 8th power. Visualize what that looks like. A with a little negative 8. Where is that going to be written? Bottom. And how's it going to be written when I write it? A to the positive 8 on the bottom. Levi, pick your head up, please. Pick your head up, please. Get your pencil in your hand. You need to take notes. Now I'm going to do the B's. 4 minus 2 gives me 2. So B to a positive 2. Where's that going to go? Top. And box it. We're done with that one. Number 8. What's different about number 8? What do we notice? I'm multiplying. What else? I've got a 0 in there. Z to the 0th power. What do I do with that? Cross it out and don't worry about it. What else do I have? I have to write this parentheses how many times? Twice. Okay. Now, we're going to have to expand it, but I'm going to expand the whole problem. So I am going to start with this set of parentheses. How many times am I going to write this? This set does not have an exponent on the outside. So I'm just going to write it one time. X squared, y to the negative, or y, sorry, is that a negative? Yeah. Y to the negative 2. Make sure you write nice and neat. Now, how many times am I going to write this set of parentheses? 2, because there's a 2 out here. It tells me to write it out 2 times. So negative 3, x to the negative 2, y cubed, z. And then I write it again. Times negative 3, x to the negative 2, y cubed, z. Nice and neat. Why?
Because there's like a will equal 1.
So that would be by itself. Like it's only got 0.
Does it have a 0?
No.
Well, for the non-zero numbers,
No, I think up there, we just take them up there times the 1, something like that. Right?
Only if it has a 0 can you cross it out. So are you asking me if I can cross this out?
Yeah.
Does it have a 0?
No.
Then no. Okay. Okay, do I have big numbers?
No, only 1, 2.
I have 2 big numbers. So what am I going to do with the big numbers? The negative 3s.
Multiply them.
What's negative 3 times negative 3?
Positive 9.
Positive 9. Good. Now what?
The exponents. Add them.
We're going to add the x exponents. So I have an x2, negative 2, and negative 2. And I'm going to add those. 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 2. And I get x to the negative second power. Now what?
The y.
The y's. A negative 2, a 3, and a 3 are the exponents. So I'm going to add those. Negative 2 plus 3 plus 3. And I get y to the fourth power. Now what?
The z.
The z's. What's the exponent here to the z? 1. What's this one? 1 plus 1 is 2. Can that be my answer?
Yeah, no.
Why not?
Exponent. Negative.
Negative exponent. Okay, so now we got to decide where it's going to go in the fraction bar. 9, where's it going to go? X to the negative second power. And become positive. Y to the fourth. Top. Z squared. That's my answer.
What is number 10 or not?
Yeah, correct. Okay, number 9. What about it?
Write it out. 2 times.
Okay, so I've got 2 sets of parentheses with exponents on the outside of both of them. Everybody see that? So this 2 right here on the outside is going to tell me how many times I'm going to write 2m in. So write out 2m in times 2m in. Then this 2 out here is going to tell me how many times I'm going to write 3m to the negative third power. So I'm going to write that 2 times. 3m negative 3 times 3m negative 3. Okay, I expanded all of it. Now what? Levi, pick your head up, please.
Multiply the big number.
Okay, I'm going to multiply the big numbers. Levi, pick your head up, please. And you need to write. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. My big numbers. And I get 36. So write 36. Now what?
Then the m, the exponents.
The m's. So what's my m exponent here?
1.
What about here?
1.
Negative 3, negative 3. And what am I doing with them?
Yeah.
Add 1 plus 1 plus negative 3 plus negative 3.
Then negative 4.
So m to the negative 4. A 1 and a 1? Right here, this little 2 told me to write this out
Oh, yeah.
2 times. Okay? Okay, then I do the n's. How many n's do I have? 1, 2. So n squared. Can that be my answer?
No.
So I need a fraction. 36 is going to go m to the negative 4,
Bottom.
positive 4, and n squared. Top.
Now we do
I have to. It's on the note. Gotta get better. Number 10. A cube. A cube has a length of 4x squared. Find the total volume of 3 identical cubes. Okay, how do I find the volume of 1 cube? So volume is length times width times height. How would I find the volume of 3 cubes? Huh?
2 times.
2 times?
Like, no, write that out 2 times.
No. How would you say, Mena?
3.
So 3 identical cubes.
So divide them up 3 times.
Okay, then do what?
Like 4x2, you divide them up 3 times 4x2, 4x2, 4x2.
And then do what?
You multiply all the odd numbers, I guess.
No.
And you add up exponents.
I get what you're saying, but no.
Oh, okay.
Do we find the answer and multiply it by 3?
Yes, because you're trying to find 3 of them.
Oh.
So you can either do that, but I'm going to write it out like this. So once I find my volume, to find the volume of 3 identical cubes, I'm going to do 3 times length times width times height. 3 times the volume of 1. Okay? Now, what do you know about a cube?
It has 6 sides.
They're all equal.
They're all equal. Now, can y'all picture a cube? I'll do my best. Here's a square, but it's a pyramid or a prism square like this. Okay? And all the sides are the same because it starts with a square. Okay? So, if you know the length is 4x squared, what's the width? 4x squared. What's the height? 4x squared, because they're all the same because it's a cube, which starts from a square. So, we're going to do volume equals 3 times my length, 4x squared, times my width, 4x squared, times my height, 4x squared. So everybody should have that written. Okay, now, what operation are we doing? Multiplication. What are my big numbers?
3, 4, 4, 4.
Good. 3 is a big number. It's not an exponent. It's a big number. So when I do my multiplying, I'm going to do 3 times 4 times 4 times 4.
92.
And I get 192. So 192. Now what do?
Add the 2.
Add the exponent. So x, 2 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 6. And that's my answer. That's my volume for 3 identical cubes.
That's easy.
Got it?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Yay. Anybody else? Any questions?